Good morning, y'all. Hey. Well, he not speaking. So, good morning, family. It's Monday. It's time to get it. It's Monday. So, what do we do on Mondays at 11 o'clock?
We present the best combat sports podcast to the entire world, bro.
Huh. All right. So I guess it's time we go ahead and do that, huh?
Hey, sounds like a good idea to me.
All right. Y'all stick with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, batten down the hatches. We'd like to introduce you to the greatest combat sports show bar none. You are now in the beatdown.
You wanna get beat down?
Let us now introduce you to your host, the Badger, and
What's going on, family? What's going on? Hey, it's true. It's true that it's Monday, and it's true you're in the middle of the best combat sports podcast going today. So I don't want to hear nothing. Just sit back, relax, let us show you a good time. What's going on, bro?
Man, after that introduction, man, I'm a little hyped. Everything's all right though, man. It's a Monday. Had a tough workout this morning. It didn't start off well, bro. But you know what? I'm adopting this new saying that I saw one of my partners post. Says no bad days, bro. So we're not allowed to have bad days, just only days to get better and improve. So I'm gonna try to incorporate into my psyche as much as possible. And I guess now that I'm here with you, this is the beginning of turning my day around. So I'm looking forward to it.
This is the beginning, bro. This is the beginning. So what's the date of today? May 3rd.
May 3rd, baby.
May 3rd. So we're going to take today and we're going to ride out. It's going to be a good day. And then we're going to get you ready for fights coming up this weekend. We're going to talk about fights and we're going to talk about Felix Verdejo. That's a heck of a situation, bro. So what you want to start off with?
Actually, I figured that we will probably be on Verdejo for a while. So I want to talk about another Puerto Rican star, although a lot less infamous for that
John
matter.
Jones?
Not quite Puerto Riqueño, no Boricua, Moreno, none of that.
Okay.
It's negro. It's John Jones, it's negro. I'm talking about Danny Garcia, bro. You been keeping up with your boy, man? I mean, we like Danny. We think Danny's good for shooting. We think Danny's a great fighter. We think that he reached his ceiling at 47. Now he's at 54. That's a whole different situation. But we like Danny Garcia. Have you been keeping up with what's been going on with him, bro?
No, actually, I have not. Good morning, Audrey. We're glad you're here, too. I have not really been keeping close tabs on Danny Garcia.
Okay.
I should, but I haven't. I see stuff, I read it, but he's not somebody I really seek out information on, and I should.
Yeah, look, man, I like Danny. I hope we can get Danny on the show one day. I like Danny for everything, from the fighter to the person to the businessman, right? I like it all because one thing we know about Danny Garcia is he ain't never got to box again. And he ain't had to fight for a long time. This guy has diversified his portfolio, but that's not what I'm here to talk to you about, bro. He was asked by Ellie Setback over the weekend at Ariola Ruiz fight that now that he's at 154, does he have anybody in mind? And of course, Garcia, the professional, is like, nah, I'm just enjoying my time. I'm about to get into camp. About to really see what this 154 division is about. And then Ellie sat back, says, do you think you're going to win a belt? You got all these great fighters. What do you think about a fight between you and Eric Salutin? Now, I paused on that. Let me tell you how interesting this is, bro. And I'm going to tell this to you because I feel like it's going to it kind of fits in with how everything just seems to work out for us. So I was with a young boy 2 years ago for his fight in Philadelphia against Nathaniel Gallimore. And After the fight, we're sitting around and we're talking, and I mentioned Danny's name as someone that was in the crowd. And the young boy says to me that I can't stay on the show because, but he says to me, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Now to hear Eddie Sackback throw Lubin's name out of the middle of nowhere was just really interesting to me, bro. Garcia responded by simply saying, I like Eric Lubin, I respect him. He laughed it off and it was like, but I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about anybody at 154 for that matter. Bro, what are you thinking about this particular fighter and Eric Lubin being mentioned with Danny Garcia? And what do you think about Danny Garcia's real prospects at 154 as his introduction looms to be very imminent?
Listen, he didn't win a fight at 147.
Oh, you're a hater.
Not a fight. But you're going to now come up to 154? You had power to stop people at 140. You had potential power with that no-look left hook at 147. You will get stopped at 154 when you get up into the upper echelon, because they will give you a title fight. They will give you a big fight at 154 because you're Danny Garcia. I think Jack and Sledge, either one could find a home in Puerto Rico. And it'd be the first time Garcia really understands what the lights look like from the ring.
Yeah, Danny's never been dropped before or not, or for that matter, even knocked out.
They hit a little harder at 154.
Danny does have a very good chin, but listen, I'm singing a similar song to you, my friend. I don't know if
Good morning, Samantha.
Honestly, I don't know if Danny Garcia, I don't even know if he's going to be competitive at 150. When I say that loosely because I think there are some particular matchups at 54 that guile and veteran ring savvy can get him through. And I'm talking about the guys like on the back end of the top 10 or on the outside of the top 10. I'm talking about your Charles Conwells. What's the other prospect? I hate when I draw blanks like this. But you know what I'm talking about. Those guys that are good fighters that are on the rise, Joey Spencer's, those guys that are not quite in the top 10, but you can see where, hey, the growth is coming, right? Those are probably good fights for Danny Garcia at 154 pounds. And it's also good fight because he's 10 years older than those guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
A fight with anyone in the top 5, even 6, at 154, I think is not good for Danny Garcia. Not good. Because he's at a disadvantage all the way around. Those guys in the top 5 or 6, you're not going to have more veteran ring generalship. You're not going to know your way around the ring better than them. You're not going to be as fast, strong, quick, twitchy, none of that. You're not going to be bigger. You're not going to have any physical advantages with an already limited skill set that peaked 2 weight classes prior. So I don't know, bro. I don't know, but man, I like Danny Garcia, so I can't count him out. I can't do that, but I'm with you on this one. I just don't know if I don't know.
Currently, he beats Sebastian Fundora, but I don't know if he beats anybody above Sebastian Fundora.
Yeah.
Which would make an interesting fight. 6'2" or 6'6", 152 versus, what is Garcia?
5'8".
5'8", 154, or whatever he's going to weigh in at. But I just think it's interesting. He probably walks around at 160. Talking about Danny Garcia, 165.
Yeah, Danny might be pushing a little. Yeah, he might be walking around about 65, 70.
Okay.
Max. Yeah, 70. Yeah.
But I mean, he was able to get to 47 pretty easy.
Yeah, he don't. But see, Danny don't like a big dude to me. Mm-mm. See, Danny wasn't a big. Well, he wasn't a big 47.
Mm-mm.
So it's going to be an undersized 54.
Way undersized.
But what I do like about Danny Garcia is a business man. Mm-hmm. Like Jay-Z said. So I'm okay with this because I think he's going to navigate this pretty well. He's probably going to give us one good fight at 54 with one of the recognizable names, and that's it. He's 33. He just posted on his social media where he made his first $1 million check. Get this, bro, back in 2013, and he said that $1 million check from Golden Boy was his second $1 million check. His first fight before that was also $1 million. So Danny's been making very good money for almost a decade now. So he knows how to navigate this thing, bro. Him and Angel are a good tandem for a reason. So I think they're gonna squeeze all they can out of this proverbial coconut, bro. And then we're gonna see Danny Roth in the sunset with his health intact and all of his money, bro.
So something about the Garcias, because Mikey Garcia has been getting paid for a minute as well. And I think about that because he was on commentating on the fight this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So just something about the Garcias, just something to think about.
Oh, man, it's just a common name. But check this out, bro. His sisters are also into the music thing. His two younger sisters, the Ciangi twins, bro, they have a pretty good Instagram following. They cut some nice looking videos, I guess. I don't listen to that kind of music, so I don't know if it's good or not, but it looks like everything else you see out there. So, I mean, look, between the barbershops, the clothing line, the record label with his sisters, the real estate that he owns, hey, man, I like Danny Garcia, man. So, whatever it is for him, peace and prosperity, but I don't think he's going to really be a threat at all at 154.
No, he'll knock off some prospect who's, like you said, at the end of the top 10 or outside the top 10. And then he'll be all the rage so they can give him this big multi-million dollar fight and it's going to be to me, I hate when guys can step into a weight class sometimes and just get the big belt. Because you see guys like Lubin, you see guys in his that are primed for a title fight but have been waiting for several years. And they may have to wait again behind a Danny Garcia.
Well, with all respect to Lubin, he did get a title shot.
Right, but right. Several years ago. And that's the business too. It takes if you lose in a certain fashion, then yeah, you have to go back to the back line and work your way back up. So do you think Danny Garcia beats J-Rock?
I was about to say that, but I got one better. Tony Harrison against Danny Garcia. Both guys are on the same mentality. Both are going to be good, massive ticket draws. I like that fight for both of those guys to kind of hit the road and walk off into the sunset with their money and legacy. Because I think both their careers are trending in the same direction and it's not up. So I like that. J-Rock, no, it's a Philly thing. I don't think they fight each other. And I think J-Rock is still very hungry and trying to get one of his straps, or if not all of his straps back. So
what about a Bryant Perella? Do you see Bryant Perella getting?
That may be the introduction fight for Danny Garcia, to be honest with you. That could actually be it.
That could be the introduction and the exit at the same time.
Might be. I might be. Yeah, could be, bro. We'll see.
Well, you're musical today, huh? I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't think us Southern boys know that stuff. We got some lyricists too, though. We be saying some slick stuff.
But that was New York. That was New York. That
I know, but because we had to embrace the culture from the top down.
Because that's what you had. I mean, it wasn't. The sad thing was, and you might be too young to remember, you had some artists out here in the late 80s, early 90s who couldn't even get airplay in their own hometown because they were feeding them artists from New York, and then they started feeding them artists from LA, and they still could not get love on the home station. I remember that time. You had some good artists in Florida in the 90s, and it took a while before Florida would even play them. I mean, they were getting love in other states. They just weren't getting love here. How we got on that, I don't know. All right, moving on.
So, bro, I think we have our hero in shining armor, bro. I mean, he's always been our hero, but Canelo Alvarez may be the savior, bro, that we've been looking for.
Stop.
You know what I mean when I say that? And this ain't got nothing to do with this fight coming up Saturday, which we got to talk about in detail. But more so because Canelo, who I think is the best fighter in the world right now, issued a statement. And guess what he wants to do, bro?
What?
He wants to box the Paul brothers.
They're not going to
guess
take
what
that
he
fight.
said?
What?
But guess what he said? He said, I only want an exhibition. They can have headgear. I don't. And I just want it to be a sparring session. I don't want no money. I just want to show them how to respect the sport. Bro, I was like, see what I'm talking about? This is why I rock with Cinnamon, man. This is why Cinnamon is my guy. And if anybody can make it happen, it's Cinnamon, bro. I really want him to do this. I doubt he will because, there's limits to his greatness, I guess. But, bro, I really want him to do this. I mean, for the culture, we ain't even Mexican, bro, but come on. This would be great.
One, they're not going to take the fight because they know, like I know, Canelo goes to the body like no one else. That's why he said you can have headgear on. Because eventually when he busts that liver open, you're going to fall no matter what. Come on, bro. I'd watch it, though.
What? I want to go. I want to. You know what? I wouldn't do that. I'm
yes,
joking.
you would.
I wouldn't.
Yes, you would. You'd be sitting right up there. So I'm like, yeah, you're going to get it tonight. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's terrible. All right, so before we get into all of everything Canelo and BJS this coming Saturday, bro, we do need to talk about this very bizarre, very morbid, and just downright evil act that has seemed to be carried out by Felix El Diamante Verdejo, as we mourn him in the boxing community, bro. I brought this up at the end of the show last week, but I didn't really know much about it because it was still, for whatever reason, very much under wraps.
What does El Diamante stand for?
I think it's, I don't know.
Oh, that's El Diablo I was thinking of. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Diablo the Devil, yeah. But for whatever reason, the local authorities really couldn't make a lot of headway, or if they were kind of hushed about what was going on. All of a sudden, the guys in the suits from here went to the guys with the suits down there, and then within a matter of like 2 days, this whole thing just completely unravels and unfolds. And I wouldn't say it's like a Lifetime movie, but I mean, I think this is just, I don't know, bro. This is bad in real life, and it played out all before breakfast, bro. I don't know what to say about this entire situation. Condolences out to Keishla and her unborn child and her family. But bro, in the hell?
Let's fill people in who may not have seen Thursday's show, or may not have been, because it's not like it was like strewn all across the news here. But fill people in on what you've gathered.
Yeah, so on Thursday, I saw something come across one of the platforms. It basically just said that that a woman that had been linked to Felix Verdejo had went missing, and that he was a believed suspect in her disappearance. That was pretty much the vague, just kind of. And when you see that, it's kind of like, well, that's a red flag. Like what? And then all of a sudden, by the time Saturday rolls around, it's a full-blown murder investigation with a body that had been found in the lagoon, where his vehicle was seen. And, of course, the last known person, according to her family, that she was with was Verdejo. So now this is really looking bad. And all of a sudden, yesterday, the complete roof comes off, the covers are pulled back, and now we have, at one point, one of the most promising prospects in all of boxing, a son, the prodigal son of Puerto Rico. The guy was supposed to take the torch from Miguel Cotto, is now basically the prime suspect in a murder where now we have physical evidence, eyewitnesses, and cell phone and GPS records linking him to this woman, bro, who was also his mistress / side piece, whatever you want to call it. She had been linked to have been with him for over a year. She pops up pregnant. She goes to him and to his wife and let them know that she's pregnant and probably that she's going to keep the baby. And that's where everything goes to shit, man.
And the fact that reports say that it was probable that his wife and her father orchestrated it.
Yeah, those were the initial things that was coming out about Saturday. Saturday was when that's what the actual headline was kind of leaning towards. But then Sunday, no, it's him.
Oh, wow.
Now, the father and daughter may have, the father-in-law and the daughter, or Verdejo's wife, may have been accomplices as far as orchestrating the deal, or at least kind of helping him mastermind this debacle of a plan, by the way. And then he goes out and he himself, along with a partner or a friend or whoever this other person is, they go out and actually do this themselves. So unlike a Ray Cruz or even to some people in O.J. Simpson, where we felt it was more of a clandestine kind of hit put out on these people. No. He went and did this himself. And the details are just grisly, bro. It's just unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable.
So he actually was the one that supposedly dumped the body.
Bro, from the alleged reports, a meeting was arranged with the young woman, who obviously trusted him. She meets him somewhere. She gets into the truck with him, the Dodge Durango. And I don't know if they drive off at this point, but from the eyewitness testimony, he punches her in the face. He pummels her until she's unconscious or, can't obviously defend herself, which she couldn't even if she tried. Then he injects her with some type of homemade solution or some solution that he had bought from a pharmacy somewhere else on the island that was supposed to, I guess, make her prematurely abort the embryo. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how far along she was because from one report that I read, she had just found out, which means that there's still a great chance this pregnancy naturally may not have come to,
fruition.
Full term because, we all are fathers and we know that first trimester just kind of hit and miss. You kind of just got to see what happens. So, but she had just found out. So, maybe 2 months probably. And she gets in the car, he knocks her unconscious, he injects her, whatever this mixture is that he bought. And then they bound her hands and feet, tied her to a brick or a mortar or something, obviously heavy enough to sink her to the bottom of this lagoon that he drove her to, and got out and dumped her body over. And then as that wasn't enough, he shot her at her body or at her drowning body or maybe already dead body. And then they get back in the truck. They go back to wherever her car is. The accomplice gets out, gets in her car. They drive her car somewhere else, dump it, get back in his truck, and I guess go about their day.
You can't make this stuff up. This is crazy. I'm sorry. This is. I've seen some morbid stuff in my life, but just to see this play out, all because she said she's pregnant, and she couldn't have gotten pregnant on her own, but it's insane.
So I'm gonna jump a step ahead here, bro, because there's no. I don't think that trying to rationalize.
No, you can't rationalize that.
Right. But I do have a thread here. I do have something. You may not agree with me, but just follow me here. So there's no death penalty in Puerto Rico. But I'm betting odds that this guy is not going to live very long. Once they find him guilty, wherever he's sentenced to go till about the rest of his days, he's not going to make it. And don't be surprised he didn't make it to trial. Only because in places like this, they have a way of taking care of or handling their own stuff. And when you were a prodigal son, when you were the representation of this beautiful island, and now you make us look like
savages,
like the worst of the world.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like I mentioned briefly, hashtag watch the part of yesterday's show, there's been a lot of homicides against women, femicides, I think that's the term, against women there's been a lot of these murders or these things going on, and these cases aren't getting solved. So now you pull back a layer, exposing maybe some other stuff. So now it's just a whole lot going on, and the whole world's watching. So
and you're trying to become a state. Go ahead.
On top of that, right? So I don't see Felix, being on this side much longer. Now, to my point, he has not been the same since that motorcycle accident. And for those that don't know who Felix Verdejo was, just do a Google search back about 4 or 5 years ago. This kid was the star. He was the representation of Puerto Rico. He was what Miguel Cotto was times 10 because, well, it was a new day, a new age, social media, all these things in his favor. Oh, and by the way, he already had corporate sponsors lined up like Dodge. The very same Dodge that he used to commit this heinous act, that was probably a sponsored vehicle because when he came into the game, he came with a Dodge sponsorship. He was that kind of star. HBO was betting all the odds on Verdejo. And then he gets into a motorcycle accident. And unlike Paul Williams, he was able to keep most of his physical faculties intact. But he was never the same in the ring after that. He was never the same. I think in the first fight back, he lost. Then he ended up losing a couple more times. And then as of recently, with the few wins he was able to accumulate, they kind of were giving it to him. And then the last time we saw him, I think he got stopped on ESPN. So he's not been the same. So I'm looking at a man who probably just doesn't even know how to handle falling from grace in a not so graceful way. It's not like he got old and retired or lost after he became a champion, just kind of faded. No, he never got to be who he really was supposed to be. Then you couple that with maybe some CTE. He's been getting in fights and wars his entire life. And then a motorcycle accident on top of that. We don't know what that really did to him. And you got a perfect storm of an animal that nobody saw. And I'm sure that, man, I don't even know if this is the same kid that we saw, bro. This is a different entity, a different being. This is evil. And as a married man with a child, with his wife, I don't know how you're capable. But then again, I'm not him and we not him, and that type of evil isn't in us. But bro, I didn't want to take too much time on that. But I'm thinking that, man, that's maybe that got something to do with it.
Let's add one more thing on there. Now you've already been out of control, and you feel like you've lost almost everything that you've had. Right? I mean, you were the favored son of Puerto Rico. Everybody was looking at you to be, like you said, Cotto, the next. And you said he was a star times 10 because of social media. Okay, well, that adds to it. Now you're in a situation where you've been losing. Yeah, you eked out some wins, but then you get stopped on national television. We don't know where you are business-wise. We don't know what your finances completely look like. But you weren't in control of your career going down the tubes. This all happened subsequent to a motorcycle accident. And now somebody else is coming to you saying, hey, I'm pregnant. You're probably not thinking about the child's life. You're thinking, okay, but I got a wife and a child. Now somebody else is going to cause me to lose the rest of what I have. Again, this is not a rational thought. But when you put it in that perspective, and the person already is not, their mind isn't working like it did a few years ago, this is the kind of crap that if you're not level or conscious of thought, I mean, even irrational people don't go this far, but you'll look at and your problems become sensationalized. And how do you deal with it? Like you deal with everything else in your life. If I want to get out of my surroundings, if I want to get out of the ghetto, if I want to, level up, I fight. If I want to make some more money, I fight. Okay, now I got another issue I got to deal with. I fight. But I'm not justifying anything. I'm just trying to wrap my brain around the thought process that puts you in the truck and to pick her up in the first place. And when you mentioned eyewitnesses saw this, you didn't think this through because evidently you did this where you weren't away from everybody.
No. The eyewitness testimony was the person that helped him do it.
Oh, wow. So his partner turned on him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't turned on him. I don't think there was, with the video surveillance camera and the cell phones and the text messages and the phone calls, I don't think he turned on him. I think he was just like, well, I'm sure. I mean, they were all on camera, but when you get out of the vehicle, you can see them get out. You can see. So, I mean, they're caught. I don't know if there's turning on him, but I guess, so to speak, maybe.
So, wait a minute.
I guess.
So there were surveillance cameras around where they did this.
Bro, did you not get what I said? All this happened before breakfast, man. This happened at like 8:30 in the morning, bro. This didn't happen under the cover of darkness. This was like in the morning. Like, hey, before I go out and get my day started, instead of working out, let me go commit a murder. Yeah, this is.
But I mean, you put yourself in a situation where you're visible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Something has to be misfiring because this is not a well thought out plan. And this is coordinated over the course of 2 days. Like, I guess from what I read from the FBI affidavit, the text messages started on Wednesday. They met up Thursday, and then he started sending text messages on Friday, leading to her coming with them. So he thought this through. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, I think we should meet up, blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm saying. None of this is thought out. Bro, it is so hard to do anything nowadays because Big Brother and Little Brother are always watching, right? Facebook, Google, Instagram, all those guys are little brothers, and the big brothers are the obvious people, right? They're always watching us. You can't do anything anymore, especially commit a murder where you have to actually go and pick someone up in a populated city, not in a rural area, but in a city, and you take her to a toll bridge to dump her body?
At a toll bridge.
Like a bridge like the Howard Franklin, not like...
Yeah.
You just gonna pull over and change the tire and then dump a body.
Dump a body.
Man, that's what I'm saying. Like, none of this makes sense. Oh, and then after you dump the body, shot at the body.
Right. So if I didn't get your attention, I'm gonna get your attention now. Not many people. Not many people shoot at fish from a bridge. So yeah. Wow, bro. Wow. Yeah. And I bet when it was done, he's like, yeah, bro, let's go get something to eat.
I mean, that's what the murderers do in all the good movies. They eat afterwards. It's like,
that's insane. I mean, I'm trying to think, and again, forgive me, but my mind goes back to when he was talking to his friend about this. Like, man, my side piece is pregnant. Hey, congratulations. No, I'm a killer. Oh, dang. I mean, how do you formulate this?
That's what I'm saying, bro. I really feel like when this is all said and done, if there's anything left to donate to science, you're gonna have to see something. I don't know how you can. If you try to compare this to anything of recent or past, you can't. This is about as bizarre as it gets. Now, there was another box that did something similar to this. I can't think of his name. I was reading about it, but this was like a while. I think it was like in the 80s. But I don't even know if it was this bizarre, but anything of recent memory, Ray Caruth, no, none of these guys actually did it themselves, right? Until you get to Aaron Hernandez. And it's like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, Aaron Hernandez was killing people in college and in the pros. He ain't care.
Right. So, and we finally got to look inside his noggin, and what do we see? One of the worst cases of CT that they even have on record. So, I don't know, man. I don't know.
What else can we talk about? Because this is insane.
Yeah, and that's the nice way to put it. So we got a fight this weekend, and I'm not talking about the MMA fights, which we can get into that probably tomorrow. I'm talking about the big fight. The fight that we all done got our sombreros ready for, right? I got my big buckle. I'm finna get my boots ready. Canelo's coming to town, baby. Yeah, all that.
Cinco de Mayo. AT&T
Canelo,
Stadium.
Billy Joe Saunders,
Cinco
bro.
de
A real
Mayo.
fight this time. Yeah,
Yeah.
we ain't talking about no British guy. He's just gonna walk through. We talking about no, a guy with a strap, a real strap that's defended the strap. One of the guys that we all know, if he got his head on straight and stopped messing with prostitutes and pulling pranks on people, he could probably be a top 10 fighter because he's just that good when he's on.
Which one we talking about? Billy Joe or Canelo?
Talking about Billy Joe Saunders.
Oh, okay.
You know we ain't talking about Canelo. That's baby Jesus.
What?
We ain't talking about him. We talking about Billy Joe. I don't know. First of all, how you name like Billy Joe and be from Great Britain?
Where do you think these names came from, bro?
I know. I'm just saying, as of the culture, that's more of a Southern thing, bro. We don't really expect to hear Billy Joe from nobody in Great Britain. I got a homeboy named Billy Joe. Yep. Call him BJ for short, but that's his real name.
Whoa! You gotta change my name. You can't call me BJ. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
You're inappropriate, bro. You're inappropriate. I just want to let you know you're inappropriate, bro.
You can't call me BJ.
So, yeah, Billy Joe Saunders, game, bro. This is a real 60-40 fight. Now, I think we both kind of are leaning towards, but we don't call favorites on this show. So let's talk about what Billy Joe Saunders is going to have to do, bro.
Well, you've already said it.
Beat Canelo. What's that?
One, he's going to have to be consistent. One, he's going to have to be able to really. It's interesting because most people used to say if you put pressure on Canelo, you can beat him. But I don't think that's true anymore.
Oh. That's probably how you get knocked out, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you tell me. You are like the Canelo experts. Like when you all stopped having a relationship, you just went around and you were like the Canelo whisperer. So what do you advise Billy Joe Saunders to do to beat Canelo?
Well, here's the thing. I just think that we know that movement will give Canelo problems. Like that's not a hard thing to see. He's not the lightest guy on his feet, but what he does a great job of having angles and cutting the ring off. So you can't just his footwork is good enough to where you can't just turn him around. But I think Billy Joe Saunders has a very, 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 very good boxing footwork. I like Billy Joe's footwork a lot. He boxes with his feet, if you know what I mean. And I think that's probably why you don't see a lot of clamoring for him in the Demetrius Andrade fight, because that fight is going to look like that. And the hardcore fans ready for that, but the guy on the couch ain't. But that's the kind of boxer he is, bro. Now, what my concern for Billy Joe Saunders is, he's been out for a while. Will he have the stamina and the legs to do this for 12 rounds? Because what we do know is that when you box with your feet, at some point your feet stop. And when they do, is the man across the ring from you still in good enough shape to now impose his will or get closer to you and close that distance off because you've slowed down a little bit? Because if that's the case, then you're gonna have a problem because there is no real power that Billy Joe Saunders has. And I'm not saying that he can't punch. I don't think he punches hard enough to deter Canelo. And that's where I think this fight could potentially turn in the second half of the fight, because Canelo was known for tiring out. But I think in this particular fight, Canelo knows that the kind of guy that Billy Joe is, how he moves around so much. So I think that condition is probably going to be on the forefront of Team Canelo.
Who's the last person to beat Canelo?
Lord.
How long ago was that?
8 years ago.
You've gone 8 years at the top of a sport. We're not counting how you came into the sport and we're just counting from the time you hit the top of the sport. You've gone 8 years and you have not lost a fight. I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. I mean, it's going to be a great fight. But Canelo was such a chameleon in the ring. And how old is Canelo? 31, 30. He turned pro at
31 the most.
He turned pro at 15.
Right.
Floyd got him when he was like 21, 22. Mm-hmm. He's just gotten better from there, like astronomically better from there. Every time we think of a way, okay, yeah, you could beat Canelo by doing this. The next couple times out, it's like, whoa, no, you can't, because he's just constantly improving. I just don't see him diminishing enough in this fight for him to lose.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, now we're not talking about Canelo and what he needs to do, or what if he really needs to do much at all. I'm just saying for Billy Joe Saunders, though, that's who he is. That's who he is. And if he feels like he can hurt you, or if he feels like, you know, you're vulnerable, then yeah, he'll step on the gas a little bit here and there. But he is a boxer by definition. So I don't see there being a lot of opportunities for him and Canelo to actually exchange like a firefight. I don't see it happening early on.
Right.
But I just think if he slows down because he hasn't fought in a while, bro, there's a difference between being in fight shape and being in shape.
Right.
Yes. And with that long of a layoff, he is going to be in shape, but he is not going to be in fight shape.
Right.
And under those bright lights, the brightest lights possible in this sport, the emotion and all that, I just think that's going to take enough of a toll to where he's not going to be able to move around like that for 12 rounds.
Yeah, I'm going to have to hand it to you on that one. Especially with the emotion at the beginning. That sucks your energy. You're finally in the ring with the biggest guy in this sport. Not physically, but the biggest name in this sport.
Yeah, your dream fight pretty much.
And if I'm not mistaken, capacity is wide open again in Texas. So you're at AT&T Stadium.
But they already pre-sold like 50,000 tickets, bro. So yeah, it's a packed house.
Right, but I thought they opened up the capacity fully now.
Oh yeah, I think they will. But I'm saying those are just the pre-sales.
Right,
so I'm sure you're going. Yeah,
you're talking about an atmosphere like you've never seen. It's like a World Cup atmosphere.
Yeah, well,
so
for sure.
And you're not going to have any he'll have some British fans, but nothing like Canelo. So you're in a hostile environment. All the lights in the world are on you right now. Yeah, it's on DAZN, but every other sports outlet is carrying it or covering it because it's a Canelo fight.
Absolutely.
And when that adrenaline dump finally hits, it's going to take some of your stamina. I mean, yeah, you're going to be in great shape, but you know, as well as if you've been pressing and this, yeah. So it's for him to stay in this fight is going to have a lot to do with his trainer being able to monitor this.
Bro, and just to piggyback a little bit off what you're saying, just to provide a little context for people out there, imagine hitting a punching bag or doing 12 rounds on a punching bag, right? And how physically exhausting that'll be. Now think about doing 12 rounds with someone punching back as you're trying to punch them, and you're moving in multiple directions. Bro, when I hit the bag, I can go for 12, 15 rounds. When I'm sparring, I am dog-tired about 4 rounds, bro. Because trying to be defensive and then trying to focus and concentrate on what you're looking at, thinking, trying to move, all this is happening in concert. It's much more physically taxing. So even though he's a pro and he's a champ and he's been around the block and back, I think that when you've been off as long as he's been off, you jump into a fight like this, just think it's tough.
And you'll find a lot of fighters who do this, men and women, especially when they've been fighting that long. And he's been a world champion, so he's been at the top of his sport. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they feel like, okay, I could just let instinct take over, and for the first couple rounds as I feel him out, and then they get down 2, 3, 4 rounds, and now you've got to fight against the best fighter in the world, pound for pound, arguably, and you're down a couple rounds, and now you got to press even more. You get outside your game. And at that point, there's nothing your trainer can do because your trainer sees what's going on. They're trying to talk to you, but it's like the devil and the angel sitting on your shoulder. Like the devil's like, press, press, press. And the angel's like, slow down. But this one's getting more credence because you're thinking, okay, I do need to press because I know I'm down a couple rounds. And your trainer's trying to keep you even keel. Stay within the game plan. You got 8 rounds to go. You can make this up. But in your mind, that's hard to make up those 4 rounds. Because I got to win the next 4.
Backyard.
Right. I got to win the next 4 just to make it even.
Yeah.
So a lot can happen, in this scenario. You come out 2 or 3 rounds down, 4 rounds down, and you're like, oh, crap. I gotta do something. No, just stay behind that jab, keep your movement, and don't get caught. And you're right. It's the first time I really got in and started sparring somebody. You think you're gonna do what you're gonna do on the bag, and to just what you said, that bag moves, and that bag has arms. And not only is the bag hitting you, but the bag is trying to find angles to hit you, like you're trying to find angles to hit the bag. And you got to recognize what they're doing, anticipate what they're going to do, without leaving yourself open to their anticipation of what you're going to do. It is a chess match, man. It's not as hard, it's not as easy as people think. Boxing is probably the most simple and difficult game at the same time.
Bro, they just released that poll. Remember we talked about this on the show, that was like a year ago? Or was it during the pandemic when they were just doing these weird things? But yeah, one of the polls was, what is the most difficult sport in the world? And they listed 100 most difficult sports. Boxing was number 1.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like either Olympic wrestling or maybe it was MMA and then Olympic wrestling, but it was all combat sports though. It was boxing, MMA, then like Greco-Roman wrestling, and then it was like, then you start getting into like football and then basketball and hockey and marathon running, and it just gets kind of weird from there. But yeah, boxing was number 1 though. Yep.
I could tell you personally in football, I've been on autopilot sometimes. I had some of my best games on autopilot.
Oh, when you yeah, that's the thing. I mean, especially if you're winning, you tend to find that zone easier. And then too, with football, teams just quit. Yeah. People can't tell from the stands, but like when y'all Yeah. So
I mean, they look in their eyes are like, just don't make me look too bad. You can see it. I mean, it's.
Or they'll start talking to you. They'll tell you.
Yeah.
Hey man, y'all up, bro.
That is the weirdest thing in the world. Cause dude actually sounded just like that in high school.
Bro, they'll tell you that. Yeah.
He told me, he was like, bro, it ain't all week. What? And then you look at the scoreboard, you realize you're up 37-3.
Right. Yeah. It's like
I've had a dude tell me, look, I'm just trying to get out without injury.
Yep.
And that was the running back when I helped him up.
Oh yeah, he ain't got to go that hard, bro.
You say I ain't trying to run away from you. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
You start thinking to yourself, how do you get into that mind state?
Yeah.
Woof.
And in boxing, unlike MMA, you can see it too, because what you'll do is you'll see a dude stop throwing punches.
Yes.
He either stop throwing punches or he'll only just jab.
Yep.
And move.
And
that's
hold.
His way of saying, that's his way of saying, I ain't trying to get knocked out. I'm not gonna let you hurt me.
Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna concede this one. Yeah.
Right. Or take a knee nowadays. I never saw that in the past.
But you only see guys taking a knee when they getting beat up though. I don't think nobody's just gonna stop and just take a knee. That's kind of weird. But
I'm just saying, it's letting you know, okay, you got me. It's
yeah. Okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
Back in the day, it's like, okay, you got to knock me out. Now it's like, now
I'll dive.
Right.
But it's gonna be because or that punch didn't hurt me like I know it didn't. But the fans don't know that I'm going down.
Right.
You saw a lot of that, but now you, like you say, your guys just kind of like, oh, yeah.
I guess that's what the last Regis Progress last opponent tried to do, but the punch missed him. Yeah.
But listen, I ain't mad at that, man. You and I both been in the ring. Hey, if you feel like you can't be safe, then get out.
Get out. I have seen guys walk out the ring.
Speaking of walking out the ring, somebody sent me the clip of Kurt Harper doing that about 2 years ago to F.A. Jabba. I thought, hey Nate, I'm gonna show up, man. We gotta get Nate Campbell back on the show, man. That's Nate guy. He gonna be mad that I said that, boy. Don't cuss me out, Nate.
Yeah, he will.
But yeah, that was
Look,
somebody said that the other day. And I was like, damn.
That's funny. I mean, I've been at a match and I've seen, back when I was boxing, I saw a guy he was on the stool and he just got up and went through the ropes. Like, just got to look like, what's going on? Even his opponent, when he realized what was happening. And it's funny because if he had stayed in there, his opponent was jabbing him to death. That's when I realized a jab could beat you. His opponent was jabbing him to death. Nothing he could do. He couldn't get in that jab. But his opponent was so tired. His opponent guy said after the match, he was like, dude, if he had just come out the next round, he probably would have hit me and knocked me out because I had nothing left.
Wow.
But he just got tired of getting pummeled with that jab and just got him walk out the ring. His corner was looking like, did he just? And one of them literally said, did it end just get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
listen, man, I know we're up against it. I hear some interesting things standing out talking to my neighbors. I got mostly older neighbors in my neighborhood, and just sitting out and listening to they're mostly women, and then my wife's dad chimes in, and so you hear some interesting things. My neighbor's sister's been staying with her for over a year, so she's our neighbor too now.
He's so shady, bro.
She was talking about her, and this is how you know you're in the South. She was talking about her friend girl who husband went to apply for Social Security. Said the man got there, said she walked up to the counter and the woman asked for his name. He said, yeah, well, I won't say his name out, but gave her his name. She got all his information. She said, may I see your driver's license, please? And he said, sure, young lady. And he reached in his pocket. He couldn't find his wallet. Could not find his wallet anyway. He said, oh my goodness. He said, I might have to come back, beautiful. I must have left my wallet at home. He said, but I will be back. I know I got to get back in line. Can I ask for you so I can see them eyes again? And she said, oh, you know what? Unbutton your shirt. So he unbuttoned the shirt. And she said, look at them pretty little gray hairs on your chest. I can verify that you're old enough for Social Security. He said, thank you, darling. And he got so excited and so happy when he went home. He told his wife, and his wife said, it's a shame she ain't asked you to drop your pants. You might have qualified for disability. I was like, wow. So, stories from Brew that I hear. So, yeah, that's a shame. Women find a way to rain on your parade.
Never mind. Never mind.
My grandfather had a statement. My grandfather said, sometimes it's not always the gun that's an error. Sometimes the target is changed.
I'm with that. See, that's why I like. See, my type of guy. That's what I would have said. What? Who said something? Like, I wasn't even trying to do that. That wasn't even where I was going. It's always intentional with me. Yeah. Maybe that's a cancer thing. I will never admit it, but it's always intentional.
Because when he said it, I thought about that. I'm like,
yeah,
right,
life hacks, man.
Because I mean, it's easy to shoot at a bullseye with, it's nice, and pretty, and intentional, but when you're shooting at the trash can, it just doesn't have the same.
Just walk over and put it in there.
Yeah.
We ain't got to shoot it. Just go and put it in there. Put that shit in the trash. All right. That's it, man. I ain't got nothing else, man. Get yourself in so we can get out here, man. We can incriminate ourselves.
I was just telling a story.
Okay.
Hey, shout out to Audrey and Miss Samantha. Both of you all hanging in there with us. Appreciate it. We had some other people watching, didn't chime in, but we appreciate you watching. Shout out to my wife, my daughter. Hey, my wife went to a wedding last night. Congratulations to the people who were getting married. But I'm like, who gets married on a Sunday night?
Somebody, never mind.
Go ahead.
No, it's all good, man. Congratulations to whoever that is, man.
But I will tell you, she was fussing when she got home. She said, We had to stand up. It felt like for hours. There ain't no chairs. We're just standing there. She said my foot was hurting. My leg was hurting. She said, couldn't even enjoy the good food they finally gave us. Had to standing up for 2.5 hours. She said, but the hors d'oeuvres were busted. Never mentioned the ceremony. She gave a real black review of the wedding, saying, I love my wife. She was looking good, though. She was looking so good when she walked out the house. Our daughter said, Mommy, you look good. And she was smelling good. And I'm like, is this a wedding? Or are you trying to get remarried? What really is going on here? Because I don't remember you smelling this good when we went out. But, I'm just saying.
So I'm assuming when she came back home, it was like a honeymoon, right?
Yeah,
you know what? That ain't a lot of business, man. Go ahead and get your stuff off, bro. My bad. Get your stuff off, bro.
She was smelling. I mean, she was still smelling good. She was smelling like a candy store and a fruit basket at the same time. Yeah, had her hair done up. Had that. I don't know where she got the dress from. I looked at my bank account and said, "I'm broke. I hope the dress was worth it." But it was. Yeah. That's all I'll say. I couldn't sleep. Shout out to everybody who watched. Did I say shout out to my daughter too? Yeah, shout out to my daughter too, and my pops, and Fighter Share Nation.
Yes, sir. We'll see y'all tomorrow on our Let's Refine show. We get to run this back again. It's going to be just as good, and it's going to be this good going forward because we do good stuff. Make sure y'all chime in, like, share, subscribe to platforms. We everywhere. Spread the love out there. It's crazy, man. Y'all be safe. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad place. Fighters Nation, we out here. Peace.